we have the verse in the nectar instruction, text 5. So it goes as follows. Krishneti yasya girimana sadriyeta dikshasti chet pratanivischa bhajantam isham shushrooshaya bhajana vikyamananya anya nindadishunyarida ipsita sangalabdya. So previously we talked about the loving exchanges yesterday, where we have giving and receiving gifts, talking confidentially and inquire confidentially, and also to give the prasad and receive the prasad. So now we have learned how to do that with the different types of devotees, because there are three types of devotees according to the advancement in consciousness. So here we learn from Rupa Goswami. He says, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensities to criticize others. Yeah. So neophyte devotee is going to mention, and also the medium devotee and the topmost devotee. Yeah. So we're going to look at the symptoms of each. Prabhupada is saying in the purport, in order to intelligently apply the sixfold reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Yeah. See. So the good thing now, everybody is participating automatically. That's great. So please let me know in the chat, or oh yeah, I should turn on the video also. Yeah, let me know in the chat if anything is going okay. Yeah. There is one message in the chat here. I follow on YouTube. Very good. Yeah. So on YouTube we are now also. Hare Krishna. Yeah, there Mataji's Hare Krishna. Very good. So first of all, what is a devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given also the definition that a devotee is simply a person who has chanted Hare Krishna one time. And then he says, such a person one should honor, respect within the mind, and one who is chanting regularly, one should even bow down to such a person. And the person who always chanting whole name, that is a person one should serve. So it's the same thing as we learn here. So Prabhupada says that he's quoting Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, it tells us how to deal with three types of devotees: Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The Kanishtadhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. Yeah. Let's see if I can put up this also on the do that document. Yeah, now it's there. Give me a minute. I will take to the proper page. Yesterday page, and here the yeah.
So there were the three types of devotees: Kanishta-adhikari, Madhyama-adhikari, and Uttama-adhikari. And next page. Kanishta-adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyamadikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So immediately we see there's a difference in the initiation. So Harinam initiation means first initiation. In Iskcon it is called sometimes also the Harinam initiation. However, the second initiation here is called the spiritual initiation. Uh, fully engaged, that means also he's doing deity worship. That means he got what we also call Brahmin initiation. The Madhyamadikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadikari, or highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service, and Uttamadikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean, and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. Yeah. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavat or perfect Vaishnava is most desirable. So he's also called a Mahabhagavat. So needless to say, such persons are rare, but their association should be sought because by such association we can make rapid progress in our Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says one should not remain a Kanishta-adhikari, one who is situated in the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Acharyam eva haraye pujam ya shradahiyate natad bhakteshu chanyeshu sabhakta prakrita smritaha. Person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general is called a prakrita bhakta or kanishta adhikari. So prakrita, it means also material. So in other words, a devotee who is still seeing things on a material platform. Yep. So the Kanishta Adhikari is seemingly having great faith in the image of the Lord and also in the Guru. However, there is a sense of ego there because the Kanishta Adhikari will view only his own Guru as the best Guru or the only Guru. He will view his scripture as the only scripture, his deity as the only deity, and so forth. It's a great sense of called Pritak Drishti also, the division. One sees a lot of difference in others and oneself, and overall is not very nice to others in dealings. So that's why Prabhupada says that we should not remain on that platform. Yeah, that's also what said in this verse from Bhagavatam. They don't know how to behave toward people in general, even what to speak of devotees. So Prabhupada says one therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishta to the platform of Madhyamadikari. And the Madhyamadikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam in this way. Ishvaratad adineshu balisheshu dvis shatsu cha prema maitri kripu peksha yakaroti samadhyama. This we also mentioned yesterday as the platform which we can operate on, really. As a society, we have to all be on that platform in order for our society to really function and not be dysfunctional. So the Madhyamadikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love. It's recognizing four different things. Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then who are the devotees? So the Madhyamadikari makes friends with the Lord's devotees, and is merciful to the ignorant, that's also the third category of people, and avoids those who are envious or demoniac. Yeah. So who are these four people or four categories? Ishvara is the Lord. Had Adineshu, that is the persons who are favorable to the Lord, in other words, the devotees. Bali Sheshu, the Bali or Bala means the child, people who are very innocent, new people, neophytes. And then Dvisha, people who are simply envious. So it's Prema, one has love for the Lord. Maitri, one has friendship with the Lord's devotees. Kripa or Kripaya, one has mercy to the innocent. And Upeksha, one is neutral or avoid the inimical or envious people. So we have to operate in this way if we are going to make progress in our spiritual life. It's it really is needed. Yeah. So is everything clear, or did I lose the sound? Can you still speak to me from here?
Everything is clear, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Very good, thank you. So let me go to the next page. Yeah, yeah, we already went to the next page. Yeah, this is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised of how to treat various devotees. You can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajas generally chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their associations should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. So here we have also more description of the categories of people. So we hear about the Prakrita Sahajas. So who are these? That could also be the Kanishta Adhikaris actually, who have strong material attachments, but are engaged in the process of devotional service. They may not be persona non grata per se, but they may be treated with respect from a distance, because one may get uh, um, one may get tainted by the mindset of people who are very materialistic in their minds, even though they be devotees. However, we pay respect definitely to all the devotees, and not to speak of course, all the people who are not devotees, especially those who are innocent. As Prabhupada said here, they can be very innocent, very favorable actually, but they're simply carried away by bad association. Most people may be in that category actually. I've heard that you can say you can say envious people of God are very few, and we shouldn't deal with even. We should just stay away because they are like, yeah, the example has been given there, just like poisonous snakes. People are actually very demoniac. They have what is called venom, poison within them. Yeah. So yeah, so those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carry out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. Yeah. So that could sound even like a Madhyamadikari, or actually initiated and seriously engaged. So in this way, you can say Prabhupada, he says that neophytes are actually all who are actually not Uttamadikaris in one sense. One can say it like that, definitely. Uh, it doesn't need to take very long to become a Madhyamadikari. One has to study thoroughly the scriptures, and one has to follow the rules and practice nicely in the association of devotees, then one can quickly become a Madhyamadikari. But one can still be a neophyte because one may not actually have that much experience. but faithfully engaged in carrying out orders of the spiritual master should definitely be given respectful obeisances. That means actually sometimes devotees are meeting each other. We say Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripas in Bevacha Patitanam Planabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. We bow down to each other. This is very nice practice. And it wouldn't hurt if you did it more, actually. It's not dangerous. The only thing that can be, you can say, hurt is our own ego because we need to bow down. But that actually is very purifying for ourselves to pay respect to other devotees. Yeah. And next paragraph, Prabhupada says, in this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. So all being said and done about avoiding bad association, but anybody who comes, you can say, no matter how good or bad they are, everybody is welcome to join and sit in the association of those, listen to the lectures, take part in the kirtan, and take the prasadam. Otherwise, how can one become a devotee if one is not invited into the association of devotees? We all started from there. That's how it worked. According to Chaitanya Charitamrita and other books, this is how devotee is made by the sadhu sangha, by the mercy of the devotees. A devotee is born. Yeah, either can be born in the family of devotees or can be born spiritually, reborn, born again. So yeah, when a neophyte, let's see, yeah, when we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the whole name of Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava. Obeisances should be offered unto him. So again, there is a distinction between the Kanishta Adhikari and the Madhyama Adhikari. Kanishta is the one who gets to hold the name, start chanting, and the one who is initiated by the spiritual master and engaged in the whole of the service. That is the person who should be respected more spiritually. And out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly follows all the regulatory principles. That means a great practitioner. So that's the word adhikari. Adhikari means the proclivity or yeah, what is the tendency in oneself. It's also called the intensity. The intensity of the devotional service is also sometimes mentioned as the adhikari. So the uttama adhikari has a great intensity in his or her devotional service, called sometimes tivra. It's like it's another name for the ray of the sun. It's very strong. Sun ray is very intense, right? Tivra bhakti. By intense bhakti, then one can achieve everything. And that's the uttama. Yeah. So what is the person doing? He is very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord, strictly following all the regulatory principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads. How many rounds? Anybody know? 16. Yeah, could be more also. Uh, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttamadhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, let's see here. So what does the Chaitanya Charitamrita say? Diksha Kala Bhakta Kara Atma Samarpana, Sai Kala Krishna Tara Kara Atma Sama. At the time of initiation, when the devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him be as good as he himself. So a little bit similar to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jananam Jnana Tapasa Bhutamam Matbhavam Agata, that one gets the same nature as the Lord when one engages properly in the austerities of spiritual knowledge. So Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha by Sri Jiva Goswami. Yeah, Divyam Jnanam Yatodhadyat Kuryat
Can you
Bhavas.
explain this again, Prabhuji? Like when the devotee fully surrenders to the services of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself.
Yes. So the explanation is I mentioned that the same explained in Bhagavad Gita, and there Prabhupada explains also that you get the same nature as the Lord, because we have the same spiritual nature as Krishna. The Atman
Okay.
is the same nature, so that means one is doing service on the spiritual platform. Only there we can actually do the service, and that is called bhav. So Prabhupada explains that one has actually the same body, same type of body as Krishna when you serve Krishna. Say, for example, you're cooking for Krishna, you give Krishna, the bhoga or the food. So how is Krishna going to eat if I only do it with my material body? It's actually my spiritual body. With our spiritual body, we are giving the food to Krishna, the spiritual food, and he is eating that. All the other services are similar. It's going on the spiritual platform, not on the material platform. That's the understanding. You can say either we experience it or not really. It is actually that's the platform where it's happening. Ramanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. We can only see Krishna with the eyes of prema. So we see him with our spiritual eyes, we talk with him with our spiritual mouth, we serve him with our spiritual hands. It goes on like this. So at the time of initiation, as we saw in the previous page here, let's see, where is it? Yeah. At the time of initiation, when the devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, so that means Sharanagati, then one gets what is called spiritual awakening. There is a special awakening which one gets when one surrenders to the Guru, because one is reinstated in one's original service to the Guru, which is the Guru is explained. He is an eternal associate of Krishna in the spiritual world. That is the Guru actually. We can only serve Krishna by serving a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. That we have heard before. That we can serve Krishna directly. We serve him, by serving his servant. Krishna is protected by all his servants. So there is a chain. So that's the parampara actually. So Prabhupada is also serving his guru, and his guru is serving his guru. So in that way, it's going on. The service to Krishna is done by serving a servant of Krishna. Yeah, and Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself, because he says that in the Bhagavad Gita, Utam mad bhavam agata. And the devotee is sufficiently purified by service. He he has the same nature as myself, Krishna is saying. And not only as good as himself, sometimes Krishna, he also thinks the devotees are better than himself, and he cannot reciprocate the service that the devotees are doing on the very, very highest level, as mentioned in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go on. So the translation to this verse by Srila Jiva Goswami: by Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. Yeah. So then one becomes, then one is a Tattva Kovidai. Kovid means a very smart person. One has become very enlightened in Tattva. So there are different tattvas explained. You have the Jiva tattva, what is the truth about us as a living entity, and you have the the Bhagavat tattva, what is the truth about God, and you have Guru tattva also, what is the truth about Guru. When these are properly understood by our practice, then we actually are not interested in the material life, but we are interested in the spiritual life. Uh, it's all a matter of gradual awakening of the consciousness by the advanced understanding. That's how we are learning from the scriptures. Prabhupada says we have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Yeah. So if you live in the temple, now Prabhupada is giving the example because that was the situation when Prabhupada was writing his books, that everybody who joined Hare Krishna, they joined the temples basically, at least 90%. But now, of course, it's different. Now 19% or 99% of those who join Hare Krishna are not living in the temples. So now you can live very comfortable in your home. But in the temple, it has been very austere to live. That's it's usually like that, living in the temple. Yeah. Indeed, Prabhupada says, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam prescribes tapasa brahmacharyana shamena chalamena cha. Yeah, that's one of the, you can say, brahmachari verses. It says that the brahmachari should do tapasya, austerity, should be equal poised. Yeah. When a person is serious about accepting diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, divyam jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam Jnanam is technically called Tattvijnana, or knowledge about the Supreme. Tattvijnanartam Sagurameva Vigachat. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he should be initiated. Yeah, and that verse is also sort of saying that that one should be ready to serve the Guru. Uh, so it says further here, such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he should be initiated. So that's also said Atatu Brahma Jigyasa. That's in the Vedanta Sutra. Start of the Vedanta Sutra says now we should inquire about Brahman. One should be inquisitive. Tatvidi pranipatana pariprashnena. Pariprashna is needed. That means one should be inquisitive, ask questions. Yeah. One shouldn't think, in other words, that one know everything. Yeah. So actually, to think that one already know a lot before one gets initiated, it may also be a stumbling block. But of course, it's good if you know from the right source. Like if you read Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, then this kind of knowledge is very good to have before getting initiated. Yeah, because then we are taking knowledge in the parampara. Uh, so, but to think that one knows a lot on one's own merits, by one's own, you can say, outside, the parampara, that would not be very good, because then one probably would be a little proud, and pride is one of the disqualifications for taking initiation. Actually, one becomes more humble by taking initiation. That usually is supposed to be an immediate effect. Uh, so Srimad Bhagavatam also prescribes Tatmat Gurum Prapadyata Yigyashu Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master. And Prabhupada says one should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions. That should be needless to say, but it's very true that it's also quite often that the disciple is not following or is not able to follow the instructions or many of the instructions. Uh, Nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. one must be Jigyasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. Yeah. The inquiries one make should strictly pertain to transcendental science. Shreya Uttamam. So one should know what is the Shreya, what is the best for me. You have two different things. One is Shreya and another one is Preya. Preya means immediate sense gratification. Uh, so the child wants to play with the toys, but the mother and father says that Shreya, what is actually beneficial is that the child is doing the homework. So in the same way, one should be interested in doing one's spiritual homework and ask the spiritual master for the highest good for us, the most beneficial for us and for others. Prabhupada says the word uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as Madhyam Adhikari. So now we have been quite nicely instructed by Prabhupada what it means to be a Madhyam Adhikari. So anybody can recap? What does it mean to be a Madhyam Adhikari?
The person is initiated by the spiritual master
Yep,
and is doing service and is totally surrendered, actually.
actually, yes. So on that level, it said it's not very far away from becoming a Uttamadhikari, and it's
Yeah.
just a matter of time actually. However, uh, the the one who is a Kanishta Adhikari actually is in danger of falling down. So that person has to be taken care of by the higher by the Madhyams and the Uttamas. They have to try and take care of that person so that they will not fall away actually. Because the Kanishta doesn't have enough knowledge and doesn't have enough proper behavior. But that
I
can
have a
also
question,
go from
Prabhuji.
yes, yes.
I'm already initiated. We have our own Guruji, and but I'm still in Krishna consciousness. So, is it something wrong?
No, this is very normal. I think you have this initiation from already from your family, or
Yeah, from my family.
it's
Yeah,
like a Kula guru, right? A family
yeah.
guru, yeah, yeah. But this is very normal, and I know many of my god brothers also have same. It's very good. So one can just, as a matter of etiquette, just ask the Kula guru for blessings for taking initiation by an Iskcon guru if that would be the case later if you would like to do that. And
Okay.
what I've heard is that the Kula guru doesn't have any problem with that.
Yeah,
No
but
problem.
actually, I like my Guruji and whatever he says, and
Yeah, of
he
course.
actually
There is no
he's
problem.
very yeah. He says whatever you like, you should do. It's not like um you
You
are
see,
forced to do
guru
what.
means teacher. Guru means teacher. So we have a lot of teachers in our life. There's no
Yeah.
problem to have more teachers.
Okay.
That's like say you went to one school when you were a child, and later in the youth you go to another school.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are more grown up, we can go to another school and to enroll in the school of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna
Yeah.
consciousness, we enroll and we take initiation from a new teacher. It's just
Okay.
a matter of teachers. It's not that you should only have one teacher your whole life. That's a misunderstanding. No, we have
Okay.
several teachers, and
Mm-hmm.
what the previous teacher said, that's all fine. We learned a lot from all our teachers. There is no disrespect to the previous teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of going further in our education. Just like we have the teacher from we were younger. Now
Yeah.
we have another teacher when we're older. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
yeah. So let's see. Where did I read? Yeah. So now we're on the next paragraph. The chanting of the whole names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the whole name of the Lord and the Lord himself. Yeah. one has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the whole name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Yahara Komala Shraddha Dekanishta Jnana, Yahara Komala Shraddha Sekanishta Jnana, Krama Krama Teno Bhakta Haive Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable. What is the meaning of pliable? I think that means you can shape it. So other people can come and shape the faith of such a person. The person comes in temple and he reflects and becomes shaped, but then goes out again and shaped by somebody else. So in other words, not very steady. Yeah. So it's called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Yeah. Everyone begins his devotional service. So everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinama, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttamadhikari. So in Iskcon, we have actually the rule that one should chant the 16 malas, 108 108 Hare Krishna mantras for each round. So 16 of these. So each mala has 108 beats. So we chant 108 names. I mean 108 mantras of Hare Krishna for each round, and 16 of these rounds is prescribed if one wants to get initiated in Iskcon. And before initiation could go very quick, but now Iskcon has put a rule that one needs to count the 16 rounds at least for half a year before one can get the diksha from the guru. Yeah. Uh, and then being under a nice teacher, just like in any school, if you enroll in a school and you get a nice guru or teacher there, then and we are nice students, and there is just a matter of time before we learn exactly the same as what the guru knows or the teacher knows. It's just a matter actually of transmission of knowledge. But there is one price to pay, and that is inquisitiveness and service and humility also. That's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Tatvidi pranipat. Pranipat means to bow down, yeah, or surrender. So that has to be there. In other words, one shouldn't be obstinate or be very challenging to the like misbehave in front of the guru. Should be humble. And also the next one, pariprashnena, one should do service. And also, no, sorry, pariprashnena is question. One should do questions, sevaya, and then service. Yeah. So three things: humility or surrender, and one should be inquisitive, ask questions, and then one should do service. In that way, one will also become greatly advanced. One will become an Uttama Adhikari. So Prabhupada says, everyone begins his devotional service. Yeah, devotional life from neophyte stage. And then further down, the Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot tolerate for long periods, cannot concentrate for long periods, sorry, while counting on beat. Yeah. The story goes that Prabhupada actually said more rounds. Prabhupada's guru, he prescribed 64 rounds apparently. The devotees in Iskcon or who joined Prabhupada, they weren't able to chant 64, so they got a more easy number, which was 16. Yeah, 16 rounds take 2 hours approximately, or maybe all the way down to 1.5 hour after some time when one is experienced. So that's a great sacrifice to do that every day, and that will pay off by actually one will have the association of Krishna through that chanting. Yeah. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, that amounts to 100,000 names. He is considered fallen patita. According to his calculation, practically everyone else is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen. And so this is the humility. One is serving one's own guru, because the present guru we have is actually the most merciful to us personally. So that's why it's advised we should have actually a personal guru, and not have the guru somebody who was higher up in the line and is no longer on the earth planet. Because say if we wanted to serve Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we may not be up to the mark because he was asking for more number of rounds. But a part of this story is actually that which I heard. I read that later on. He gave for the preachers Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that they could chant just 16. Actually, those who were very engaged in preaching when he had his Gaudiya Mater in India, traveling around preaching, talking to people, try to convince people, training up people to become devotees. These devotees, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was okay that they chant a minimum of 16 rounds. For those who did not preach, he prescribed that they should chant 64 rounds, at least. So in that way, when Prabhupada came to the West, he was always preaching. So in that way, Prabhupada, he was also not obliged to chant more than 16, actually, according to his Guru Maharaj, and he gave the same to his disciples. And it's very suitable for us here in the West to not have more than 16 rounds, definitely. Okay, so next page. So now we heard about a story from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. When Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava should be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yanra mukis shune ekabara, Krishna nama se puja, Krishna sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Yes. See, just a minute. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Ataiva Yamnara Mukya Eka Krishna Nama, Tetai Vaishnava Karya Hanhara Samana. One who is interested in chanting the whole name of Krishna or who, by practice, likes to chant Krishna's names, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within one's mind. So Prabhupada is explaining here about, guess who? This is our quiz for today. Who is Prabhupada speaking about here? One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the whole names of Krishna, and even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respect to him without reservation. For we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the whole name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries, who are supposed to be great preachers, have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the whole name of the Lord. Yes, any comments? Anybody figured out which person Prabhupada is referring to here?
The Beatles.
Yeah, any specific person in the Beatles?
I don't remember.
Harrison was his name.
Harrison, yeah.
Yeah, George Harrison. Thank you. So, Harry's son, Prabhupada also said, son of Harry. That's a nice last name to have. Yeah. And I found out actually that Prabhupada, in his place in Calcutta, his family where Prabhupada was living as a child, you know what is the name of the street of Prabhupada? Called Harrison Road. Yes.
Oh, Harrison Road, yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
there is a connection there.
Oh,
Prabhupada
yeah.
definitely has a strong connection with George Harrison.
Hmm.
He called George Harrison my own son.
Oh.
So because of the Beatles, then it was easier for people in the West to accept Hare Krishna actually. So they did
Mm-hmm.
actually a lot for making Hare Krishna you know an acceptable spiritual practice. Okay, so we read further on. While giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into 3 categories. Okay, so let's take a look at these categories. Yeah, a person who, yeah, so Shastra, Yukti Nai Jana Dridha Shradavan, Madhyama Adhikari Se Ma Bhagyavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and let's see, and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service, should be considered a Madhyamadikari. Undeterred, what does that mean? Probably he doesn't sway away from doing his duty.
Mm-hmm.
Such a person is very fortunate. And then Prabhupada says Madhyamadikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. It has been explained another place also that such a person has a Shastriya Shraddha. He has faith in the scriptures. By nice study and by nice hearing from the spiritual master, he or she had gained proper understanding of the scriptures and is nicely rooted in that understanding. Yeah. So yeah. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Shraddhavan Jnana Haya Bhakti Adhikari Tama Madhyama Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service, according to the development of his Shraddha faith. Shraddha is very important. That is developed by 2 things: by association with devotees and also by hearing the scriptures properly. Yeah. So then it said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the definition of the word Shraddha itself. Shraddha Shabda Vishwasaka Sudridha Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. So in other words, all other activities which are needed to do is done automatically by just doing service to Krishna. That means if we are serving Krishna somehow or other, we will know, please our family, our neighbors, our society will have something to eat. We will have enough money in the bank account, some or other. It will all be achieved by just focusing on service to Krishna. So of course that's a very, very strong faith, which we talk about, which, for example, a sannyasi has that faith. They simply speak Krishna's mission, and some or other they trust that Krishna will give them a place to sleep and food and whatever else is needed. So Prabhupada says, Shraddha, faith in Krishna is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etad eritam manye yan mam vadasi keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. So what is the word for truth is Rita. Yeah. So that's important to have in our life, truth. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to one's own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality. So, in other words, not cherry picking from Bhagavad Gita. I like it. I like that. I don't like that. If we are supposed to be nice devotees, advanced devotees, we definitely accept Bhagavad Gita in total. That goes without saying. And especially Prabhupada says last instructions, which are Sarva Dharmam Parichaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Devamukhi jivado swayam eva spuratyadaha. So
Can we
that's what.
discuss uh, this Sarva Dharmam Parityajay Mama Ekam
Yes,
Sharanam Raja?
yes. So what were you thinking about regarding that verse?
Like abandon all varieties of religion. I
Yeah,
mean, Hinduism is religion, like, so
yeah,
what are we abandoning actually?
yeah. It's a very good question, and an often asked question also. And this is also one of the most misunderstood verses in Shastra, because obviously it doesn't mean giving up your duty or your dharma,
Mhm.
because what is Arjuna doing after he has accepted this instruction? Arjuna is fighting, as a kshatriya, so he is
Yeah.
doing his duty before he accepted this instruction. Then Arjuna had put down his bow and arrow. Then he was out of his duty actually. So what does it mean? Well, actually, it means that Arjuna, he was attached to his own conception of religion,
Okay.
right? He had his own conception. He was in the beginning, if you remember from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we will have Bhagavad Gita as part of Bhakti Shastri. We'll go through this very thoroughly. In the first and second chapter, then Arjuna is pulling up, you know, arguments from the Dharma Shastra,
Hmm.
because Dharma Shastra are all the scriptures talking about, the duties of the kshatriya. That's probably one of them which are described the most.
Mm-hmm.
So there is said, all the codes, and he was saying, a kshatriya shouldn't fight against his own teacher, and warfare is actually not so good also because there are becoming many widows, and it's not good for society. And he had a few other quotes. So he had studied Dharma on his own, or I mean, he has also studied Dharma from his teacher, Dronacharya. So in other words, he was full of Dharma, but he was not listening to Krishna very much, or was not prepared to listen fully to Krishna. So that's why Krishna said, "Give up all this Dharma and listen to me." You understand?
Okay,
Usually,
now I
usually great,
understand.
great, yeah, usually great preachers are speaking like that. Same we have, Jesus in the Christianity. He says to his disciples, just listen to me, just follow me. I'm the only way back to God, right? Prabhupada is
Yeah.
saying the same thing to his disciples. He says, don't go to all these other groups. Just listen to me. This is usually a teacher has to say that to the disciples, because otherwise the disciples will be, picking here and there from the scriptures. They will be, too independent.
Hmm.
The guru always has to be very strong and say, give up all this. Just listen to me. I can give you another example. Prabhupada also gave, I think. It's a common example that, somebody wants to learn to play the guitar, but has know a little bit, know one thing or two about playing the guitar. So it comes to a guitar player. Well, actually, the example from India is about the mridanga. Yeah, so one comes to a mridanga teacher, and then the mridanga teacher is asking, "Do you know how to play mridanga?" And the new person, he says, well, I know a little bit. I can play a little bit. And then, the teacher says, okay, it's going to be 20,000 rupees for the whole course, to teach you to play mridanga. But then the student, he said he heard that so he gave to someone else, just pay 10,000 rupees. How come? And then the teacher said the other student, he didn't know anything about how to play mridanga. Do you understand? When
Yeah.
somebody knows a lot or think they know a lot, then the teacher has to unteach all that. Especially with mridanga, this is also a case because to learn proper mridanga, one has to play according to the mridanga mantras. Usually, if we learn what by ourselves, we didn't follow any of that, and that has to just be forgotten in order to play actually properly. In the same way, one has so much, Dharma Shastric knowledge and all these things. Actually, Bhagavad Gita is overruling all these things because it's all about serving Krishna, and that is really the paradharma, or the real duty we have, and that will include also the Kshatriya Dharma, and the mundane Dharma will be included in that. So that's why Krishna says, to Arjuna there, just to blow his mind clean, so to speak. Just give it all up. No, just listen to me. Does it make sense?
Yeah, but the Kshatriya Dharma also says, like, why was Arjuna not fighting? Because Kshatriya should fight.
Yes. So in other words, Arjuna he was bewildered because he also knows he should fight as a kshatriya, but at the same time he also had some quotes that he shouldn't fight because he mentioned, if you fight in a war, that war is very bad. I will give you the deeper example because the kshatriya has four means of
Hmm.
action. So one is called sama, and that means negotiation, or just
Yeah.
make peace by talking. The second one is dana, by giving gifts, or that can also be bribery. The third one is bheda, or divide and conquer. So in other words, to go into the other camp and by political maneuvers or by tricks, take over, the other side. And then the last one is danda, and that means war or punishment. So the
Okay.
last one is said in the Dharma Shastra, you should avoid that by all means. You shouldn't do that war if you're not 100% sure it will be success, because we all know war is terrible.
Hmm.
So it's actually advised in the Dharma Shastras that one should try and avoid that as much as possible because it's gruesome. So in
Okay.
that way, Arjuna had that argument also that if you have war, then you have also many people are killed, and then you have so many widows, and these widows they'll find themselves new men, and there will be so much varna sankara, so much
Hmm.
progeny which is not properly trained up to be human beings, and there will be a lot of social unrest, a lot of problems in society will be there, and also that just as a matter of etiquette, one shouldn't fight against one's own teacher, which
Hmm.
Dronacharya happened to be on the other side, and also Bhima, his grandfather was there. I mean Bhishma, his grandfather was also there on the other side. So these were some arguments he had, which was quite strong and was upheld actually by the Dharma Shastra. But of
Hmm.
course, there are rules. Just like you have in the law books, you have one strong rule can overrule all the smaller rules. And of course, if the guru is there, it's said that if the guru is saying something that actually overrules, the other, because the guru is like the judge. And now Krishna was playing the role of the guru. So in that way, he had to be a little strong and just blast, Arjuna's arguments. He did that actually from the very beginning. In second chapter, he said, to Arjuna, these are, nonsensical arguments you're coming with. He said, this is Srudram Hridaya Balyam. This is from a weak person who has a weak heart.
Hmm.
These petty arguments. In other words, Arjuna had these arguments, and that in Arjuna's mind this was dharma. But also Arjuna was bewildered because he also knew that his dharma is to fight and not go from the battlefield. You understand? He was confused,
Hmm.
and we may be in the same situation. That's why Bhagavad Gita is said to be for all of us, because we know so many things from before. But when we meet our guru, we are usually tested. We actually meet our guru. The guru is actually our eternal guru. When we
Hmm.
actually get that relationship, we may have some arguments why we want to do something else. But then our real surrender will be then constitute of actually just listening to what the guru tells us and throw away all the other dharma which are, available to us. Does it make
But
sense? Yeah,
the whole thing is like Guru has many disciples, and
yeah,
get one-to-one interaction with the Guru is not possible. Then
You should try and get a guru which you can have the interaction with. Hare Krishna, nice to see you. Please have a seat. Or you sit there? Yeah, exactly. So one should try and get a guru which you can get the proper interaction with. Now, I know in Iskcon it works now usually in two ways.
hmm.
Before, people thought, that Diksha was the all in all. That you had Diksha Guru, you should only listen to Diksha Guru, what he says. But we know that Diksha Gurus, they grow up, they grow to become great gurus who has thousands of disciples and don't have time to give personal instruction to all of them. So in the later years in Iskcon, Siksha Guru has become more and more prominent. That means you have a local guru. You just have a senior devotee who is your teacher. He can be several of the Siksha Gurus. And that way
Okay.
they can guide you in your personal life. And the Diksha
Hmm.
Guru is the person who just gets you, into the family. Actually, technically speaking, the Diksha Guru is giving you your name and,
Yeah.
and giving you also the what do you call the license to worship deities. Because for
Mm-hmm.
worshiping deities, one necessarily has to have a Diksha Guru in the proper way. Otherwise, you can go back to Godhead just by having receiving the Maha Mantra from the Siksha Guru, because the Maha Mantra is independent actually of the Diksha. But for our
Okay.
culture, it's very handy to have Diksha, because that way you can take part, in the deity worship, especially to get further, advancement on the Brahminical platform.
Hmm.
So in that way, it's very good. However, for personal guidance and training, you can have that amply, or should be amply available by Siksha Gurus, which are many. Diksha Gurus are in the few. You understand? So in that
Yeah.
way, uh, usually now the devotees in Iskcon, they take the Diksha, and then they may have daily instruction, or about their daily issues they have from Siksha Gurus. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, very often in Iskcon now, even the Diksha Guru will say that, because it's also not proper to you can say go to the Diksha Guru who is far away in another country just for one's daily issues or some philosophical questions, which may be solved by local instructors. So often the Diksha will actually say, just ask your local authorities about these questions. So in that way, our Iskcon movement is working then very smoothly.
So in Oslo, who can be the Shiksha Guru? I mean,
Well, you have many seniors here. Everybody who is teaching from the scriptures can give you, siksha. We are doing already now. This is also siksha. The Bhakti
okay.
Shastri is a siksha program, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Understood. Thank you, Rabji.
yeah. Thank you. And in that way also, everybody of us, you also are working, as a siksha guru for those who are, junior to yourself in this process.
Yeah.
This is also a fact. But it said that as siksha instructors, we should always back up what we are saying from the books, which
Hmm.
our curriculum is always the three books: Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. Okay, so
So
we read on. Yeah.
Chaitanya Charnamrita, what does it describe?
Charitamrita. Yeah, not Charinamrita.
Oh,
Charnamrita
sorry.
is yeah, Charitamrita. What is that book?
Charitamrita. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the book which we have quoted a few times from today. It's the book specifically about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his contribution, which he gave the highest form of Krishna Prema.
Okay.
And he gave us the means to learn that, and that's also what we're learning in the Upadeshamrita. So he instructed Rupa Goswami to make this book we are studying now. For us who are neophytes, we gradually can come to the stage of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that's the called the Prayojana, or the actual goal, and that is Prema, Krishna Prema. There is a gradual stage to come there, and that is by
Hmm.
following gradually the Sambandha, or relationship practice, which are in the Bhagavad Gita, and then the Abhideya, which is our practical daily practice of sadhana bhakti, and exemplified by Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the highest practice is the spontaneous devotional service, which is exemplified by Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Um, so the others who are participating here, you are okay? You don't have any questions? Or if you have, you can at any time come with them, also after the class. So I will now just look on our chat to see if anybody wrote anything. Okay, so we'll go on reading. Um, yeah. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etat ritamanya yanmam vadasi Keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. Yeah, actually, we read all this. We take to the next page. Let's see. Yeah, so gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Yeah, so then we came to this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu verse, also by Rupa Goswami. Sevalmukhi jivado swam evasparatya. Just by we cannot realize the Supreme Personality of God by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Such service begins with the tongue, the jiva. Yeah, that means we chant all names of the Lord and we accept the Krishna prasad. We should not chant or accept anything else. And this process is faithfully followed. The Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. Yeah, so that means we're chanting whole name of the Lord, which we will do here also now in the temple soon. We have kirtan evening from 5 to 7. We can even start before. Why not? So, and then we also have prasadam. Yeah. And then he becomes revealed. So it's a very simple process. When the person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to 6 processes. So that's what we had in the previous verse. Tadati pratigrinati, Goem akyati prichate, bhunktam bunjayate chaiva. Yeah. To give the gifts, to accept the gifts, to ask confidentially, to also speak confidentially about these spiritual matters, and also to cook for another devotee and accept also the prasadam from another devotee. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavat without being self-realized, for by such imitation one will eventually become degraded. So that's also a great warning. We have to see which position we actually are in. And if you don't know, we can ask somebody who is senior to us, and they will tell us. So in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttamadhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttamadhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform, that means Madhyamadhikari, can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform. So in other words, one shouldn't accept disciples who are more advanced than oneself. Um, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. So is that clear? A guru should be sought with discrimination. Yeah, one should try and see which level is the guru on, and how can the guru help me advance in the spiritual life. In that way, hopefully, we can get an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Those of us who are not yet initiated, you can try and find a guru by studying the Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction. So any further comments or questions? I'll read the verse again. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pratanivish chabhajantam isham Shrushaya bhajana vigyamananyam anya nindadishunya ipsita sangalabhya. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity, and one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service, and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So,
Prabhu,
yeah,
why is sometimes some devotees take so much time to to choose a guru, and others just in 1 year or two they decided? Why is so difficult? For in my case, I don't think I'm prepared for that.
yeah,
And
this is a good question. And why it is because of the development of Shraddha. That's why. How much faith do we have? Yeah, and as I mentioned, Shraddha is developed by Sangha, association with devotees, and also by our own study of the scriptures, and really Svadhyaya, our own practice, our own chanting, our own study of scriptures, our own anartha-nivritti, and together with Sangha, with devotees. That's how we develop our Shraddha. So you can say some people, they take a guru quite quick. Are they more advanced? Well, according to Prabhupada, they are actually. He said actually that those who are more senior, there was a question actually, who is more senior than anybody else? Like, in the Prabhupada's movement, there were somebody who joined Hare Krishna who was elder than others, somebody was younger. They're wondering who are we supposed to view as senior? And Prabhupada said immediately, those who was initiated first, they are more senior. So even if somebody is 16 years old and initiated, and we are not initiated, that means that 16-year-old person who is initiated can now instruct us if we are not initiated. Prabhupada said like that. So the longer they have initiated, then the more senior they are. And that's actually practice in our movement, actually. Like, for example, when I go to the Vyasa Puja of my spiritual master, I meet other, disciples of my Guru Maharaj, and those who was initiated first. Like our most senior godbrother, which we all listen to, he actually met our Guru Maharaj already in 1987, and that was before even our Guru Maharaj, had officially become the Guru. It took actually, believe it or not, it took actually around 20 years before, officially he became, in an initiating spiritual master. But already from 20 years ago, our most senior godbrother, who we all take instructions from now, he took shelter of our Guru Maharaj. That's possible because it's an eternal relationship also between the Guru and disciple. It's not actually dependent on the formality of Diksha. So he took, in other words, he took Siksha. He took instruction. That's completely legal. And later on, it was formalized by the Diksha. Something similar you can say you can say, I mean, it's also happening in the world that people are, the man and the woman is living together. And then later on, they get actually officially married. Of course, in our, spiritual tradition, it's better to actually marry immediately. And in the same way, it's better also, to take initiation immediately. So those who do it, before the others, they are the most senior and more advanced, according to Prabhupada's definition. Does it make sense? But of course, there are more things to it. As we learn here, there are the characteristics of the person. So
Thank you.
there are exceptions also to this. I heard actually in the Chaitanya Leela, there are a few who didn't have Diksha initiation actually. I heard that actually Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they didn't officially have Diksha, but they served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But of course, they're very, they're eternal associates of the Lord. Arjuna is not having, Diksha from Krishna, right? He's receiving Siksha from Krishna, and he's the most advanced devotee. So it's all actually about the qualities of the devotees. It's the personal qualities which are developed, which you learn here. The pure devotee, the Uttamadhikari, is advanced. He has Ananya Bhakti. That's an affair of the heart, and also he's very mild, not criticizing others, very humble like this. These are the actual traits. It's not actually about the technicalities. But still, as a matter of custom and etiquette, one is honoring those who was initiated before oneself as senior. Just as you can say, general navigation. What do you think about that?
Yes, I just agree.
You agree?
Okay. I just want to say that today we had one more guest here. I'm in a friend of a friend, a house in the friend on his son, who is 6 years old. He was sitting here with us for 1 hour. He don't understand English, but he was curious about the chanting and the Sanskrit, and then he's sitting here. That's
so
it.
nice. Yeah. Please
Jai.
say hello from me.
Okay.
Blessings. Hare
Say hi.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's all
Right.
Ricardo. He's shy now.
Right.
Shy.
Yeah. This is very nice because actually just by hearing mantras from these books, we are getting everything we need. Actually, this is spiritual nourishment. Yeah. So I think we will stop there because today also was not so complicated. I hope. So we continue tomorrow after the Sunday feast. Then we will also be on site as we were today, since I'm back in Oslo. And luckily I got much better. I don't feel sick anymore. So that will be after Sunday feast at 4 o'clock. And we will also
Tonight.
stream of
Okay.
course.
Okay, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna probably says
Hare Krishna.
tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.